ready for Metal Mayhem! This is Full Metal Challenge! Welcome to the last semi-final Full Metal Challenge, the driver's exam for a license in hell. 9 weeks ago, we invited our first teams of lunatics to the surprising venue of a disused power station in England. Their mission was to take on the Full Metal Challenge. Our mission was to find the most daredevil drivers and crackpot engineers on the face of the planet.
Good Lord, this is tight.
We set out with 27 teams from all 5 continents of the world. With just a month and the equivalent of $3,000, these teams had to build their ultimate endurance vehicle, one to crush the opposition in any test.
First convergence of the double-dub.
Yeah! Over the course of those 9 weeks, we subjected men, women, and machines to all kinds of torment in tests of speed, strength, agility, and power. Of those original 27 teams, only 9 remain. And they are facing a fate far worse than the losers, the chance to come back and do it all over again.
And today, 3 of our first-round champions are back for no-holds-barred fisticuffs, because there's only one place left in the final, and they all want it. Let's meet them. First up this week, a team of marauding off-roaders, the Ice Vikings from Iceland.
We are the Ice Vikings, and like true Vikings, we won't be taking prisoners, and our machine Thor is on the warpath to victory. Yeah!
Next, a team of cops, the Law Dogs from California in the US.
We're the Law Dogs!
And we'll be laying down the law with our machine, the impact weapon.
And finally, the Desert Pumas, who hail from the Atacama Desert in Chile.
Somos los Desert Pumas. Tenemos las garras para pelear. Marcharemos hacia la final con nuestra máquina, la Marabunta.
Over the course of the day, just as in the heats, they'll be competing in a league table of 3 different games. And even though it's the semifinals, we won't be getting soft on our losers. They'll still face the indignity of a trip to our chimney of doom. And for the survivors, well, what's the point of building a dream machine unless you're gonna let it be smashed to smithereens in our sumo ring? Ice Vikings, are you ready?
Yo!
Law Dogs, are you ready?
Yeah!
Desert Pumas, ¿están listos?
Sí, señor!
Then let's see who's going to the final.
We are in the last semi-final Full Metal Challenge, and I got a game I know you're gonna like. King of the Hill, the perfect one for tough guys. So you think you're a tough guy, do you? Yeah. Oh yeah? Yeah. Oh yeah? Yeah. Oh yeah? Well, let's see you get to the top of this.
All 3 drivers will be racing to be first to the top of the central White Hill. But before they can take on that one, they've got to capture 2 of their own colour flags from the surrounding hills. And that's where the fun really starts, because while the single colour hills can only be claimed by one team, the others can be fought over by 2 teams in a hilltop skirmish. Let the coronation commence.
This is King of the Hill. It's a hard one. Do you have any strategy, any tactics to get yourself over and win?
Mi táctica sería mantener la velocidad justa para poder subir y volver a bajar de
His tactic
inmediato
is to maintain the right speed to be able to get up the hill and to get down the other side safely.
Looking forward to it. Buena suerte.
Gracias.
The Marabunta, or soldier amp, weighs in at 3,700 pounds. It's a lightweight, but it's ultra-manoeuvrable and not short of power, as it showed to great effect in sumo, where it beat a vehicle twice its size in a real David and Goliath battle. Good traction and 4-wheel drive should give it a good head for heights on our mountains. So, Law Dog, how are you going to take the impact weapon up the hill?
We're going to be going for the blue and red hill first.
So that's the hill that the Chileans could also be going for?
It very well could be. We'll just have to knock them off too.
Oh, fighting talk!
That's right. Yeah,
all right, well, good luck.
Thank you.
The impact weapon should pack a bit of a punch, weighing in at just over 2 tons with a 310 horsepower engine. Although it's hefty, it has great maneuverability and acceleration, as it demonstrated in pitball in the heats, with a goal that suggested Americans can play soccer after all. That power should mean the cops can make molehills of our mountains. All right, you've seen these hills. You got any good strategy on how to get this vehicle up and over them?
Just the speed then.
A speed
Head on,
thing?
yeah.
Well, that's all you can do. Good
Yeah,
luck.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
It's all about speed for Thor. He's a lightweight at just 1.7 tons, but a hefty V8 engine means he moves at one heck of a lick, which is just what he did on our roller coaster, where the Vikings turned in one of our fastest times. Great traction and a good bit of grunt should give Thor a head for hill climbing. So all three semi-finalists are well equipped to power up our 30-degree inclines. The race will be on to see who can make those vertigo-inducing ascents the fastest. Teams, are we ready? Yeah! Then let's play King of the Hill! Chile's red, America's blue, Iceland's yellow. And there's the green flag to start the race.
Iceland are off at breakneck pace, and the Law Dogs are going to have to give themselves a ticket.
The Chileans have their first hill in their midst.
But the Ice Vikings are ahead. Yes, he's up! Ooh, but he might not be coming down again. Ooh, the Law Dogs missed theirs by inches. The Chileans are going for it. Nestor hits it so fast he powers straight over the top. But that's one in the can for Chile.
It's an amazing start, with all three teams proving rugged mountaineers. The Ice Vikings are straight up no nonsense. Oh, except getting high-ended. The Law Dogs don't hit it quite hard enough. But the Chileans aren't going to make that mistake. They super power up and pile straight over the top.
The Ice Vikings are still trying to coax Thor down from the mountain. The Americans are lining up again. Ooh, but once again he just misses it.
And the Chileans are going for their second one, a bit more tentatively. Oh, it's just not quite enough, and I'm afraid that won't count.
The Vikings are unstuck and have started their descent. Is it going to be third time lucky for the Law Dogs? Yes! Oh, but the hill's taken their weapon into custody. But the Vikings are on to their second. Yes! And they have both their outer hills. The Chileans are only moments behind. Yes! And it's two in the can for them also.
The Cox are still being detained at the mountain's pleasure.
The Chileans are down and can try for the crown. Oh, but it might be too late. The Vikings are lining up.
What's happened to your guys?
And they go all the way. Awesome!
And the poor old Marabunta is left scaling the foothills. But there's no doubt about it. Thor is king. Fantastic power, lightweight, superb traction. And those Vikings take no prisoners as they power straight up the big hill to claim that crown. That was a beautiful thing to watch.
Yeah.
How was it in the driving seat?
Scary at the first point. I got stuck there.
I know, because
Yeah.
you high-ended
Yeah,
it, didn't
yeah,
you?
yeah.
Well, fantastic result for Iceland.
Thank you. It's great.
So now it's round two. The Law Dogs need a bit of help off their mountain to get into position for the second place playoffs between America and Chile. The Americans have only captured one hill, while the Chileans have two, so the Law Dogs are the underdogs.
They're off again! The cops flipped that Yui even quicker than before.
He likes making a mess.
And they're heading for the hills.
Come on, Mike.
Yeehaw! It's two hills apiece. But the Chileans are lining up for the kill. Will they make it? Oh, yes, they will. Viva la Marabunta!
It was great play by the little Marabunta and a determined Nestor. He takes the maximum possible run-up so he can hit that mountain with enough oomph to power him all the way to the summit and second place. Fantastico! Brilliant driving. Second place. Muy bien.
Gracias.
The Law Dogs gave it their best shot, but it just wasn't enough.
So it's the Ice Vikings who are off to the best start, pillaging and plundering their way to the top of the mountain. and also to the top of our heat with the unbeatable 3 points. The Desert Pumas also put on a storming show to come in second with 2, but even their blue flashing lights couldn't help the cops. They're insulted with the derisory 1 point. They were kings of their heat, now they're kings of the hill. But where did the Ice Vikings get all that blue blood from? From the start, the Ice Vikings weren't taking any prisoners, and in round 1, driver Sverige ran riot in our 10-pin alley, only to find the pins occasionally hit back. A quick fix on their damaged steering got the team going again for round 2, the Hall of Mirrors. And after a slow start, Sverige came out on top, with both Brits and Americans struggling in our labyrinth.
The Brits were now lagging so far behind that round 3 was little more than a formality. The Ice Vikings found themselves facing Death Guild across the sumo ring. But what should have been some high adrenaline sumo was a bit of a letdown when the monkey had engine problems and just conked out.
Like a true Viking, Haldor took full advantage. The Ice Vikings may have kept their cool in their qualifying round, but will they find the semi too hot to handle? So is there any challenge apart from sumo that you're afraid we might throw at you next?
No.
We don't know. Nope.
Nothing?
Nope.
Oh well, we'll put
we'll
that
see.
to the test.
Yeah.
Because soon they'll be facing bumper cars.
If our teams thought they had a bumpy ride in King of the Hill, wait till they're playing dodgems in a pinball machine. Coming up next is monster-sized pinball, with our poor little contestants as the ball. They're in it together. Things could get brutal. I'd hate you to miss it.
Welcome back to the third semi-final of Full Metal Challenge and our very own Axles of Evil.
And the Ice Vikings are in the lead because of this.
But those law dogs have a huge weapon and they're not afraid to use it. Have a look at this. He might be a cop, but Law Dog Mike drove more like a criminal in 10-pin, taking out 8 pins and putting the cops in second place going into round 2.
And Pitball was the perfect showcase for those barely legal driving skills. Mike stole the ball straight out from under his opponent's noses. The Law Dogs are now sharing pole position with the Brits, and the two teams were far enough ahead that they were almost in sumo, even ahead of round 3's roller coaster.
So Mike could have had an easy ride, but of course he didn't, and almost came unstuck on our notorious inverse bend. But in the end it was academic and the team were through to sumo, facing one of the competition's biggest and heaviest machines. Mike refused to be intimidated and made sure the impact weapon lived up to its name.
Go, 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 go! Push it, Mike!
The relentless onslaught proved too much for White Noise. Its front axle snapped and its steering was history. The Law Dogs may have made an impact in their heat, but is Mike's seat-of-the-pants driving enough to get them through to the final?
Well, third place at the moment, but we think we can turn it all around, don't we?
I definitely think we can turn it around. We should
Yeah.
be able to do good in the rest of the events.
All right, well, let's see how they get on in bumper cars.
Hockey's cool, but the violence is always interrupted by all that chasing the puck business. In this game, no such distraction. It's just 3 cars in an ice rink with a bunch of obstacles they have to smash into to win. Let's play bumper cars.
For those who haven't been doing their homework, a reminder that it's 50 points for hitting the fatter obstacles, 20 points for hitting the skinny ones, and no points for hitting each other. Team with the highest points after all the chaos wins. But as ever, we've soaked the already slick surface in soapy water, so it's a hump for traction as well as lit up bumpers. They'll also need their wits about them, as the lights on the bumpers are on a timer system that's a secret to the drivers. And as the Chileans have done the game before, semi-final rules state a new driver must take to the wheel. So it'll be up to the granddaddy of the team, Attilio, to keep his head together. So who will be judged Duke of the Dodgems? Will the force and power of the impact weapon subdue the speedy Marabunta? Or will thundering Glacier Viking Thor ride roughshod over them all?
Let's play bumper cars!
With just one place in the final left, there's everything to play for here.
The Cops are first to make an impact. Thor still finding his feet on the ice rink. And the Marabunta's onto the scoreboard.
The Cops have their skates on and they're in the lead.
Ooh, the Vikings are robbed. Here's Thor again. And the Vikings are into the fray.
It's a double whammy. The Marabunta is on the march and Chile's snapping at the Law Dogs' heels.
But the Cops love a high-speed chase. And they're still top dogs. But the Vikings are getting the hang of the slide. And they're driving like demons. The Cops are hitting the Chileans. But look out, the Vikings are creeping up on the inside.
Viva Chile, the Marabunta's in the lead. But the Cops don't like that, and Mike's got the blue lights on and the siren blaring.
But there's no stopping the soldier ant. The Marabunta's miles ahead. And shoving bumpers to hit the Cops is a great tactic.
You are under arrest.
But the Vikings are sick of being bottom. It's time to go on a conquest.
Iceland's doing nicely.
And another one.
Come on, Lawson!
The Marabunta's playing ice hockey with our giant pucks. Goal!
Over there!
Halfway through and the poor old Cops are in last place. They need those big ones.
But the Chileans are gobbling them up too.
The Cops have found their form again. They were bottom and king of the hill, so they need this one. Can they pull back from the brink? Well, not driving like that. And none of those Vikings have anything to do with it.
Oh, there's one!
It's 2 in a row. Sverige is a Viking possessed. And it's 3. They're in the lead. The Law Dogs are suddenly the pups of this game. And even the Marabunta seems to have lost the plot. We're into the 4th quarter. Those Vikings are gonna take some beating. They climb to the top, and they feel like staying there.
All the more reason for the Chileans to ram them. But that collision's burst Thor's tire.
He's seriously injured, man!
Could the Vikings be vanquished yet?
The Cops are making the most of it, but time's nearly run out.
Poor old Thor can barely move. And the Cops take a pop at him.
There's no extra points for that!
If the Cops can't win, they can still demolish our game. That water-filled highway barrier's meant to resist anything, but didn't reckon on a high-speed impact weapon.
The refs are grabbing their red flags, and it's the end of the game.
That's a first!
It was slow and steady that won this race, the Vikings just constantly notching up those points to trot Thor home in first place for 3 points. The stealthy Chileans are second with 2, and the Cops were run off the road into 3rd place in the shoddy Singleton.
So overall, the Vikings and Thor are riding pretty high, 2 wins yielding the maximum 6 points. The soldier ant is nibbling at their ankles, though. The Chileans are in second with 4. And the Cops are boys in blue in more ways than one. They have some catching up to do at the bottom with just 2 points.
So the Ice Vikings are on the rampage, but the Chilean Marabunta has a sting in its tail. Have a look at this. The Desert Puma's machine might be small, but what they lack in size, driver Nestor makes up for with speed. And round 1's Tempin was no exception.
He was a bit more cautious in round 2's slippery bumper cars, but once he found his feet, there was no stopping him, and the Chileans again cleaned up.
Our nail-biting roller coaster course failed to slow him down, and his almost record time earned him a new nickname from his teammates, Baby Schumacher.
A clean sweep for the Chileans meant they were straight through to sumo.
But at half the size and power of their opponent, they were going to have to rely heavily on tactics. So Nestor once again used his speed to his advantage, waiting for the perfect moment to launch his attack.
He's got him!
And what an attack it was. 911 didn't know what hit it, and within seconds it was all over for Chicago Fire.
The tiny Marabunta may have marched into the semis, but can the Chileans repeat that incredible performance today? You have a lot of fans. And good luck with the rest of the competition.
Thank you very much.
Well, if you liked our teams in bumper car, wait till you see him hit the drink in Metropolis. It's an underwater gallop around our foul, festering lagoon. 2.5 feet deep of stinking swampland, where it really could be sink or swim. That's coming up next. This is a public service announcement from Full Metal Challenge. The team that finds themselves in the lowest place on the scoreboard after this next challenge will have their vehicle removed from their possession and taken into this furnace and burned never to be seen again. And whenever we do this, it is an emotional heartbreak for me to see these men and women who've worked so hard on their vehicle have to kiss it goodbye. Yeah, right, like I care.
Well, here's a twist. It could be the police officers who are going to get put away. Have a look at the scores.
Yes, things are looking less than rosy for the boys in blue. The Law Dogs are the Chihuahuas at this stage in last place with 2 points. The Chilean Desert Pumas have a bit more bite. They're in second with 4, but it's those pillaging Vikings who are top dogs in the lead with the maximum 6 points.
These contestants are a laugh riot. Oh, I have the toughest machine there is. Oh, my engine's stronger than your engine. You know something? Water doesn't care how big your wheels are or how strong your engine is. Water just slows you down, gets in your way, and makes you waste time. And here at Metropolis, we got a lot of water, and we'll see how our contestants struggle and strive to get to the next round.
Our wetlands are 3 acres of putrid swamp. The water's up to 2.5 feet deep, so there's every chance of drowning, especially when our course takes in all our fire hydrants, some of which we found it necessary to put in the deepest parts. If they do a hit and run on any of our road signs or pedestrians, they'll be punished with a 10-second time penalty for each one.
In the wonderful world of Metropolis, the rules of the road are a little topsy-turvy. Each driver has to make a complete loop around our 3 giant fire hydrants. They have to do it as quickly as possible, and they have to do it in reverse. Fastest from start to finish wins.
Okay, you are in the lead, so all you need to do is finish this and you're going on to sumo. So are you going to really let it rip?
I'm going to try to have it pretty safe, but I'm going to get it fast. We want maximum point.
All right, well, good luck. Have a good one.
Thank
you.
you.
Now I need you to start your engine.
Vikings playing it safe? Surely that's not in the rule book.
Go for!
Yeah. None of today's semi-finalists have played Metropolis before, so they're all untested in water.
You look worried for a moment, admit it.
Haldor's not even in the deepest parts, but there are already ugly noises coming from Thor's icy heart. Their V8 is great on grunt, perfect on power, but wasn't designed to power a submarine.
But he's into reverse for hydrant number 1.
Just have to keep it going.
Yeah, not stop.
Oh dear, they drove like demons in bumper cars, but he's got his reversing angle wrong there, and that'll cost them time.
There's the flag.
Green flag, you did
Okay,
great,
let's try
okay.
to avoid penalties.
Go on, go on, go on, go on.
It's not sounding completely happy, is it?
The
Is it fine?
access is underwater, so...
Their big wheels give them better ground clearance, but that water's well up above engine level. Every second in that pond is a second more likely that their engine drowns out.
Oh, and you can almost feel the Ice Vikings wince every time he shifts gear. That's when water can get into the engine and cause mayhem. And if there's one thing they'll need in the sumo ring, it's an engine firing on all cylinders.
That's nicely done.
Right about
There it is.
There he goes.
Yep.
2 down,
Okay.
1 to go.
Yeah.
Has he got a little pot of dried fish for this delicate part of the course?
We gave it before we went. So.
Great.
Haldor's looking a bit nervous. Oh, and there's why. There's a bonfire of smoke coming from under Thor's bonnet. The engine's overheating and he's still a long way from home.
Viking submarine.
Yep.
That's it. I think so.
The Vikings are well known for their submarines, weren't they? Oh, he's got a bit of a soaking there.
Plenty wet there.
Yeah.
There it is.
That's the final gear shift. Into forward again for the straightaway, and praying that the engine lasts the distance.
He doesn't want to make too much of a wave because then it goes right over.
Haldor only has eyes for the finish line. Maybe we should invite the Ice Vikings back in the winter when the lake's frozen over. I'm sure Thor would be a lot happier.
That looks great.
Yes.
Come on.
Almost bang.
But he's done it.
Yes. Still running. How was it in the Viking submarine?
Fantastic. It was a lot deeper than I expected, but it was fun.
Yeah, it seemed a bit worrying at the beginning. It started making a horrible noise.
I did worry too.
Did you? Even your teammates, who moments before had told me they never worry about anything, were looking a little bit fearful. Well, it was a penalty-free run. I think there was one pedestrian that went over, but that was just in the huge bow wave.
I saw that.
And the time for the run was 3 minutes and 49 seconds.
Okay.
Pretty respectable.
Yep.
The Ice Vikings looking pretty indomitable.
So
Let's
far,
see
okay.
how the Chileans can get on.
With Iceland safely in sumo, it's now down to America and Chile to see who joins them. That's coming up right after this.
Welcome back to Metropolis, and the race is on between the Desert Pumas and the Law Dogs because only one of them is going to sumo.
Okay, you have told us that this vehicle might not do very well in water. So have you been giving that some thought as to how you're going to get through this course?
Aguantando la respiración.
Holding his breath.
Buena suerte, and start your engine, please.
No wonder Nestor's nervous. The Marabunta's just a tiddler. It might turn out that the only parts of Nestor sticking out above the water are the ones keeping him alive.
Okay.
Slowly in.
And boy, he's in deep already.
And it's also the first time the soldier ant has dabbled its toes in the water.
A yellow submarine. This is a light blue submarine.
The shape of the vehicle means he cuts through the water really well.
Although in some ways the Marabunta's size and shape is a disadvantage because the water comes up so high, it's also an advantage in that the vehicle offers less resistance to the water.
Well, he's going to get a little wet unless he goes around that. Oh, boy.
There, he's wet now.
And he's making stately progress. Well, let's be blunt. Slow progress around the first hydrant. Remember, the Chileans are in second place, so if they come in last here and the Law Dogs win, they could still face my chimney. So it's not enough simply to get around. They need a decent time. Yeah, green flag, nice one.
And it's by no means in the bag. That engine will be suffering with every extra moment and every extra inch of water. And Nestor's taking half our lagoon with him.
It's a good submarine.
Okay, he's getting into his reverse position. Wow, he got his gears changed really fast. He's worried about knocking down that pedestrian, and he's having to reposition. That will cost him more time. Yeah! Okay. Go, man! the last hydrant for Nestor, the wee Marabunta, and that poor sodden engine.
Nice.
Oh, but that's not quite a complete loop. That's better.
There's the green flag.
Wow, nice.
Now
Okay,
he's just
come
gonna come
on.
back.
Nestor, you still okay in there? Can you breathe?
Oh, it's right over into the...
A little car that could. Oh, yeah. And the little Marabunta just manages to crawl his way home. But is it fast enough? Yeah.
Fantastic! Congratulations! Muy bien! The Marabunta swims!
Buena.
How far up are you wet? It was a fantastic run. The time for the Ice Vikings was 3 minutes and 49 seconds. And the time for Marabunta is 3 minutes and 48 seconds.
Un segundo, 1 second.
1 second, una segunda. Which is pretty staggering.
Ya somos, we are a second.
The Law Dogs have got their work cut out. Let's see what they can do.
How are you going to drive it?
Like I stole it.
All right, start your engine.
With the Chileans beating the Icelandic time, only a meteor strike could get the cops through to Sumo. But the cops aren't going to let a little thing like that stop them driving like complete lunatics.
There's those examples that are
Just like he stole it.
He stole it, then he took a wrong turning and went down the Lake Street.
Mike definitely has something to prove here, and that vehicle is just the one to help him do it.
There we go.
And he's making mincemeat of the other team's times.
He's trying to do that skidding trick, but he can't. I don't know that it's going to work underwater. Green flag!
And earning a deep-sea diving certificate en route.
This could be a course record being set right here.
My advice, don't be a bad guy around this fella.
Yeah, Mikey,
That's really an awful reverse. I mean, he just, can handle the slide, no problem.
I think we killed a pedestrian.
But hang on. If anyone should be good at avoiding pedestrians, surely it's this lot. There.
No yellow flag.
He didn't do reverse.
What? No reversing? Mike appears to be taking the law into his own hands.
To hell with reverse.
Yeah! Who cares about it? Take out the
Reverse
pedestrian.
is last year's thing.
That's a wink.
He's going to power through that finish line.
Oh no, he isn't.
Mike knows he's beaten. Oh, it's the last chance he'll get to drive the impact weapon before I burn it! And so let's show off! Let's make a mess! Let's pretend it's kindergarten all over again!
Hey! Is that all you got? Hey! Good job, buddy. Good job!
I think your mum might have something to say to you about this.
We just had fun.
The cops prove that they can lose just as well as they can win. But sadly, the getaway car didn't quite get away. And the cops roll home last for another desultory solo point. The Vikings are finally beaten into second place for 2, and the Marabunta proves that ants can swim and earns a hefty 3 points for the Chileans.
Time for the cops to slip their impact weapon back into its holster, because the governor wants a word with them back at the station. He's rather ominously holding some handcuffs up by our chimney.
I can't hide my bias. I love this team and I love that car. And it's the first time I've had to wear a black armband in its honor.
We're touched.
We're very touched.
The Law Dogs will be back again.
We look forward to it with a new impact weapon.
Yes.
Right on.
Law Dogs! Mere words cannot express how happy this makes me to tell you the following. When you're in California, you indeed are the law. When you are at Full Metal Challenge, I am the law. And the law says that your vehicle is going into my furnace to burn. And I am going to laugh. Watch what happens when I step away from the vehicle.
There she goes.
With half the lake with her.
I fought the law and I won!
The impact weapon has been locked away for the night, but our two survivors are left to roam the streets for one final assault.
One team is one game away from the grand final, and it's sumo for cars. It's gonna be big.
Welcome back to Full Metal Challenge, and the moment to find out whether the Ice Vikings or the Desert Pumas are getting that last place in the final.
The Ice Vikings showed true glacial determination from the off, rampaging up our mountains in record time and bringing home the crown. They also proved themselves pretty handy at smashing things up. They were top of the heap again in bumper cars. But in the water, it was the Chileans who were most at home. They swam around just 1 second faster than the Vikings to win Metropolis. But you know it doesn't matter now, because all that matters is sumo. At Full Metal Challenge, we always save the best for last in the form of sumo. Our contestants have been through a lot, but nothing has prepared them for barbed wire, tire spikes, and an opponent who's trying to obliterate them.
The rules are the same as ever. Simply shove your opponent completely out of the ring and don't get mangled in any of our death traps. But the pressure tonight is greater than ever before, because only one of these teams is going to the final.
In the blue corner, it's the small but perfectly formed Marabunta, sporting a handy 2.5-litre engine. It's a lot tougher than it looks and moves like a scorpion on hot sand, so underestimate at your peril.
In the red corner, Thor is pretty evenly matched for weight and also has a hefty 5-liter engine. He's as agile as a gymnast, but isn't built for full bodily assault. So this should be a well-matched face-off.
But who will be the warlords of this last semi-final sumo bout? The soldier ant with a sting in his tail, or the Vikings' finest with a Thor in his side?
Are there any particular weak spots on their vehicle you're going to be heading for?
In the wheels. They're aluminium, so you might be able to
Aluminium
break them.
wheels, so they can come off. And what about on the Marabunta? Is there anything that you're worried about there?
The driver.
The driver. Oh, you've never made a mistake before, and I'm sure you're not going to start now. Good luck.
Thank you.
We'll see you on the other side.
Okay, this is the big one. This is for all the marbles, man.
Let's have some fun.
Do you have tactics?
I want to see what they are going to do.
Just gonna wait for them to maybe make the first move.
Spin around.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll see you when you're all done, one way or the other.
Yep.
Good luck.
As ever, each round of our grisliest grudge match will last for 2 minutes, or until someone is incapacitated or shoved out. And out means right out of the biggest black ring.
Let's play sumo! 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, sumo!
There we go! They're not the heaviest sumo fighters we've had, but they could be the fastest.
It's first hit by the Marabunta. Ooh, but he gets himself in our tire spikes. And nearly gets a face full of Viking, but he just misses. Not this time, though. And the Vikings are shoving that Marabunta with all their Vikingly might. But it's not enough to put the Marabunta out just yet.
The Vikings backed right into our barbed wire. With their skimpy tyres, that's pretty dangerous play.
But they're ready for another assault. It's assault and battery all around. And both vehicles are dicing with death around our hazards. In a fight this fast-moving, you don't want to be without wheels.
They're off to their corners for a bit of a breather.
Not for long. It's the first head-to-head. But Thor has a problem. Even aside from a South American warrior trying to punch his lights out.
Did he break the wheel?
That hit was more than a bit of a blow for Thor. Its sheer force mashed his front axle and he's not looking so Vikingly now. But the Chileans have trouble too. Nestor piled straight into our caltrops, deliberately designed to puncture tyres, and we won't be needing a refund.
While the Chileans just have a punctured tire, Thor's whole future is lying in tatters. And the once brave Viking is just taking the punches.
He's lost the wheel!
His wheel's off, but that's the least of his worries.
It's stalemate!
But try as they might, the Chileans just can't seem to garner the strength to push him out.
And that's the end of the round. It was a high-speed battle, with both fighters giving the other some serious food for thought. There were plenty of good hits by both sides, and some particularly nimble ducking and diving, even in reverse. But it was this last caning by the Marabunta that really dented the Vikings' armour.
This is not only a submarine, it's a destroyer.
It was so fast.
At the last moment was attacked.
There's no doubt that Thor took one heck of a beating. One tire completely off its rim and a front axle that won't be doing any more turning. But while delivering those last violent punches, the Marabunta also did himself some major internal injuries, also to his front axle. And now, neither vehicle is able to reposition in the center of the ring for round 2. Once again, it's up to those refs to rub their heads together.
The referees will evaluate all the attacks mounted by each fighter on their adversary. They'll be looking at the number of hits and the quality of their impact. They'll also look at the damage sustained overall by each vehicle, from the fight itself and from our hazards. And finally, they'll look at how successful each vehicle was in attempting the ultimate aim of shoving their opponents out of the ring. Dave Marsh?
Referees have had to score the round on the performance during that round. The 3 referees scored the round to the Desert Pumas.
It's a fantastic performance by the Ice Vikings, triumphant in many of our games today. But our overall leaders and winners will be going to the final, the Desert Pumas!
And the finals are going to be awesome on Full Metal Challenge. Do not miss it. Yeah!
Yes, do not miss the next episode of FMC. It's the big one. Our 3 unsurpassed teams and their killer machines. The Canadian Snow Diggers with the Steel Survivor, the British Aquaholics with the Octopus, and the Desert Pumas with the Marabunta will be fighting it out for the title of FMC Champion of the World.